Are we good? Can everybody see my screen? Amazing. Now let's minimize this, hopefully, but hi everyone. I think I know all of you, so I don't have to spend too much time on introductions, but my name is Colt Brock. I'm the South Quad director this year. And so I'm excited to give you all just a little intro into the quad and some updates. So obviously, what is the AIS, independent nonprofit student run organization? Our sort of core tenets: leadership, design, and service. Among design students, that's where we are strongly placed. And so we've kind of in the last year started to rework sort of our mission and vision, and we want to achieve a more sustainable, healthy, and equitable future through the empowerment of student voices, ideas, and actions. So really, what is the AIS? This is our membership. So these are just some amazing people that were at the grassroots conference this past summer, and I hope to see you all there this summer. Maybe we'll get a new photo together. So a little bit of an update. Right now, we're right around 3,000 members. We've got close to 300 chapters between our active and inactive. In the South Quad specifically, we've got around 85 chapters, and as of January 1st, we had 980 members, which is super exciting. We're less than 20 members away from exceeding what we ended with last year. So we're very close to passing that benchmark. So I am super, super, super excited for that. And yeah, we'll keep going. I'm excited to see the growth that we'll have in the spring semester. If you didn't know our board, here's our amazing board. Our officers, our past president, executive director, our quad and regional directors, and then our fantastic liaisons. So if you haven't met all these people, I encourage you throughout the spring to get to know as many of them as possible. Let's see, there we go. So just running through a little bit about what we do as an organization. I'll go through this part quickly, but conferences and events, obviously we're here at Governance Weekend, and we have 4 amazing quad conferences coming up in just a few months, and a little over 2 months actually. So hope y'all are excited for those. Competitions and career development. So the AIS has a plethora of internally hosted competitions. We have partner design competitions. We have our scholarships page, our career center. Make sure to check all of those out. Networking, I think you all know a good bit about this, but networking at your chapter with the other organizations in your area. So your local AIA, NOMA, WIA, EQIA, everything that is in your area. And then as well as the networking through nationals. So like this week, we have our amazing career development week. And I'm not sure if Nicole is still in here, but if you are and wanted to drop a link to that in the chat, that would be amazing. If not, I'll drop one when I get done presenting. But coming up this week, Tuesday, I believe, we'll be starting our career development week. So we'll have portfolio reviews, resume reviews, career expo. We're gonna have all kinds of great things for y'all to take part in. I encourage y'all to check out the benefits page. We offer a ton of benefits to our members, so make sure to check all of those out. And there's always more benefits being generated and reworked, so keep an eye out and check that page often. Professional development, I think y'all know all this, our national and international committees and the work that they do, firm crawls at the local level, workshops that different chapters and regions host, career guides, all great things that you get as a member of the org. And then leadership experience. I think y'all are here at Governance Weekend, so leadership is no stranger to any of you, but taking, leadership roles at your chapter, like our candidates are doing at the regional level, on committees. Be sure to look out for all those opportunities. We have so many different things, Crit Scholar, stuff like that. National communication, y'all probably hear from me way too much, but I love getting to chat with y'all and give you updates. We've got a lot of great things going on. So check your email for newsletters from the national office, and you don't have to check your email too often because I will be blowing it up constantly if you know me. Merch, we have some great merch, and there's new merch always on the horizon. So I know there are some fun things that we're working with our staff on, so keep an eye out for that. I was actually wearing earlier our amazing grassroots shirts. Love the AIS merch. Recognition, chapter leader of the month, honor awards, the AIS yearbook, as I like to call it, all different opportunities for members to be recognized on our social media and website, national programming, Crit Journal, Crit Scholar, chapter alum, so camp, which is run by Nicole and I and the amazing membership committee, FBD. So lots of great opportunities to be involved locally and nationally. The Alliance, which we are 1/6 of, and then your chapter. Y'all are full of amazing people, amazing opportunities. So I encourage y'all to take full advantage of those things. And then who doesn't love some good pizza, right? But I'll pretty much close with this quote from Brent Castro, who's a good friend of mine. He's a past vice president. I'll read it. If you allow the AIS to become a part of your learning process, then this will not just be another resume line item. It will be a catalyst for growth as you are learning to be a designer and steward and leader of the built environment. I love Brent. This is a great quote from him. But what you all came here for, it is Q&A time. So we are going to have an amazing Q&A with our 3 amazing South Quad director candidates. So before we jump in, do each of you want to take about 15, 20 seconds to just introduce yourself, what school you go to, what year you are, and any local or national positions you currently hold? And we'll go on the order on the screen. So we'll start with Bungi.
Yes. Hi, I'm Bungi. I go to the University of Memphis. I'm the current chapter president at the University of Memphis. And yeah, I'm running for South Quad director.
And what year are you, Bungi? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I'm a 4th year at the university.
Perfect. Thank you. And then Valerie, do you want to go next?
Yes. So I'm Valerie Ujoa from Clemson University. I'm a 4th year architecture student, and I'm a co-chapter president at my chapter.
And then last but not least, Shilpa.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Shilpa Kumar. I am a 3rd year at the University of Texas in Arlington. I'm the director of our mentorship program at my local chapter, but I do also sit on the chair of the ethics committee on the national board.
Amazing. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have had a chance to meet these 3. They've been running a wonderful campaign, and they've all been, really putting it out there. So I appreciate all of you. And so before we get in and before y'all get all nervous about it, I just want to give, anybody else can clap if they want, but I'm going to give a little round of applause to the 3 of you. Y'all are doing a fantastic job, and I'm super proud of all of you, as I know everybody else is too. So yeah, so we will jump in. I'm not going to be displaying the questions on the screen. I'm just going to be doing them verbally because I had some technology issues today. So we will have to I might be able to type. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Nicole, should I stop sharing my screen so people can be big for?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Then that is going to give me an opportunity to copy and paste them in the chat if everybody will give me just a minute. I'll go ahead and ask our first question. I'm going to give each of you, for time purposes, we'll probably start with around 30 seconds for each answer. And then depending on our timing, we can either go up or down. I'd rather y'all get to answer a lot of questions. So yeah, we'll jump in. So the first question I'm going to ask is, why did you choose to become involved in the AIS, and what has influenced you to run in this election? So we will start with the order on my screen. So we'll start with Valerie.
Okay, so I originally started involving myself in AIS because I wanted to go to Forum Toronto. I wanted to travel. That was my main goal. And then I ended up getting roped in, and I continued to join membership events and everything. And at this point, I got to share all of my resources that I never had beforehand. So it just excites me being able to give out more.
Thank you. And next we'll go Bungi.
Yeah, so I actually was my first year, I was kind of thrown into AIS actually. A lot of people saw me as a leader within my own studio. And so that's how I sort of got passively involved with it. But once I sort of got to know more, I actually started to love the community aspect of getting to know people. And when I went to grassroots, that exponentially grew once I got to know the national community. So I wanted to follow that forward after only it being like 6 months since I got to know the national community to run for this position to carry that through into a much further audience. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so just so you all know, from going forward, when I put a thumbs up, that'll be my indication of 30 seconds. So wind down your thought and try to finish up. I don't want to cut y'all off in the middle of anything, but keep an eye on your camera. If you see me thumbs up, that means we're, right at 30. So again, we have plenty of time. I just want to make sure that I can get through some questions, and then if the audience members have any questions as well. So Shilpa, if you want to close us out on this one.
So I actually got involved in AIS my second year. It was like post-pandemic, and it was a great way of, I got like a lot of community and friends. And of course, going to conferences was one of the best things I ever got involved in. And I really just wanted to reciprocate all the support and energy that I've always been felt by all my peers, and really want to give back to my community and serve as a way to help other architecture students.
Perfect. All right. So our second question is going to be, how does your background in or outside the AIAS make you a strong candidate for quad director? And so we'll start with Bungi on this one.
I think a lot of how I just view the world outside of the AIS has helped me at least be an inspiring person to other people. I find myself, although having my own little trip ups every now and again, I find myself being able to foster a very intimate environment around the people that I am able to involve myself with. And so I would say that is what makes me at least a strong candidate for South Quad.
Thank you. And then let's see, Shilpa, do you want to go next?
So my parents actually immigrated to this country. I'm a first-generation architecture student, and I feel so grateful and eternally lucky to be able to do something and study where I'm passionate at. And I honestly have never felt like I really deserve the opportunities I was given. And I only want to feel like I want to help others and give the opportunities and resources to people just like me.
Thank you. And then Valerie, do you want to finish this out?
Yes, so I think my background makes me so much stronger because, like Shilpa said, I'm also a first-generation student as well. Both my parents immigrated. I never had any resources, and I went through so many hard situations. And being able to take that perspective and know that everyone else doesn't also have a princess life either, it's just a great way to approach everyone and be like, hey, we're all here for each other. And so that's what makes me stronger.
Awesome. Thank you all. Those were fantastic answers. The next question here, we'll just take a second. Y'all breathe and make sure y'all are kind of vibing out. I want y'all to enjoy this. The third question I'll be asking is, out of the many roles of a quad director, what do you think is their most important responsibility? And Shilpa, we'll start with you on this one.
After speaking with people like you, Cole, and Jesse, and understanding what your roles are and really seeing the type of dedication that you have for our chapter leaders and all of our members, I honestly feel like my most important responsibility, if I were to get South Quad director position, was to serve our members and to be able to understand what their problems are and have them rely on me to be as their first place of contact.
Thank you. And Valerie, do you want to go next?
Yes, so one of the many important roles, I think, is definitely building bridges, being that shoulder for everyone to just, I'm stressed out, please help me, and then also to inspire and motivate. Those have been all the things that definitely Colt has helped me out this past year a lot. So
thank you. And then Bungi, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm also gonna out you, Colt, because you have been a great person that really has fostered a community. I think that that really is the most important thing, is that you can't really do anything without the people that you keep. And so just being able to create an environment that is that intimately close is something that I think is the responsibility of the South Quad director.
Yeah, those are great. Community is, I just want to say thank you. Y'all are all fantastic, and everybody here, y'all have all been fantastic to work with. It is my favorite thing about being a quad director, is definitely being able to work with all of the student members, and it's a very selfishly, it is very energizing for me. And so I hope you all, both candidates and delegates, continue to build your local communities. Come talk to me. I obviously love talking way too much. And I hope that, if we haven't gotten a chance to work together, or if you haven't gotten the chance to work with these three, make sure that you reach out to them in the coming semester. But yeah, so we'll go to our, let's see, fourth question, which is a little bit of a longer one. So I'm going to go up to a minute for a response on this one, just so y'all know. How would you, as a quad director, stand up for architecture students who are less engaged, not financially able to attend events, or who are traditionally left out of the AIS culture? And how would you bring them into the fold? So we'll take a second. I'll let y'all start thinking. Valerie, we're going to start with you on this one. But yeah, so we'll have a minute on this one. Same thing. I'll hold up my thumb whenever we're at a minute. But Valerie, take it away when you're good.
Well, I guess as South Quad director, trying to get students in who are not engaged and standing up for them, I think it's definitely giving them that voice, that opportunity, that shoulder that I mentioned earlier, because all of us have gone through a point where professors kind of get on us, and being able to tell them, hey, you can actually speak up for yourself. This is your project. This is your education. Take a hold of it. So being that voice for them is what I view it. And the financial status of it, I've definitely experienced that same myself, and AIS has helped me in situations that I'm just like, I want to attend, but I don't have that money. And so telling them, be like, hey, that's not a problem. That's why we reach out to sponsors. We do fundraising. That way we can help you. And money is never the issue. It's just the experience and your energy and your excitement that we just want there. And that's what also builds up the culture, is just knowing that students are the ones that make it up. And it's not money. It's not the stresses. It's just who you are that we want in.
Great answer. Thank you. Bungi, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so I think reaching out to what's most comfortable with every student is how I feel I would want to engage with students, whether it's meeting them halfway or even going as far as to meet them in their end of the court. I think a lot of the passion that goes behind being in a in a leadership position is trying to find a means of bringing people in by getting to know them on a more personable level. And so when it comes down to like the aftermath of like figuring things financial wise, or like figuring out things in studio and such, I think it's important that like there are these conversations that are met within those like intimate relationships. Because I mean, I've talked about our financial problems at Memphis, and so I think it helps to at least like start that discourse of communication.
Thank you for that answer. And then Shilpa, whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Cole. And I really believe that post-pandemic, a lot of students, particularly in architecture, have gotten a little bit used to like hiding behind a screen. And what I've understood from talking to like different people from different schools is that they sometimes felt really shy, and they felt like they weren't part of a community. And so much of architecture is based on studio culture and working together with your peers. Coming from University of Texas at Arlington, I've seen a lot of like different demographics of people that have traditionally always been left out of architecture, including women and people of color. And a lot of these people just don't have the same resources as past generations did. And so the availability of scholarships and sponsorships and just money that's out there, I want to be able to share these resources. I feel like one thing I've always so grown as a person is being able to like reach out to people and get them to talk to them and showing interest that, hey, I want to talk to you. I want you to participate. And it really means a lot because it's what was done for me as well.
Those were great answers. I'm hitting y'all with the big questions and y'all are coming through with the answers. So y'all are doing great. The next question isn't really going to be a question. I'm going to throw y'all a curveball. This is going to be a scenario. So, sorry, I've been talking too much this weekend. My throat is not happy with me. So the scenario I'm going to give you is a chapter leader is having trouble gaining new members and getting in touch with the members they do have. What are your best ideas for increasing engagement? So we're going to do 30 seconds on this one. And we are going to start with Bungi.
So actually, this is funny being in this type of position. And I found that the best solution, at least on my end, was offering the resources that they're asking themselves. And so I actually went out to ask what they're looking for rather than events, and whether it be like a resource drive, a resource Google Drive, or just like asynchronous things that they could do on the back end to know that like AIS is more so of a resource rather than an event source, I think is how I would respond to that.
Thank you. And then Shilpa.
I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding of how an AIS chapter can provide for them. A lot of people are hesitant to even join the board and pay for a membership just because they feel like it's more of a burden. However, I do want to encourage the fact that like I want to be able to reach out to people and help them individually and see what are they lacking, like what type of resources do they need, what type of issues are they having, and being able to contact this like head on instead of being able to throw like a bunch of resources out there. It's definitely more of an individualistic way of being able to increase membership.
Thank you. And then Valerie.
Yes, so the issues of membership we also had as well at my chapter, and I definitely went back to the students themselves and approached them and be like, hey, what are your goals, your personal goals, what are your architecture and educational goals, and what do you have as AIS, and what do you expect us to give to you? And in that I found out that everyone had different wants and needs, and so being able to tailor that to each person was then they were like, oh, you actually want me to be in there as well. And then also reaching out to chapters like we did the Middle East chapter, we asked them how they gained their membership and built up, and so then they gave us more tactics and resources. So reaching out to other chapters as well and seeing how they're dealing with it has a super helpful.
Thank you. And then our next question, we're going to do this question, and then I'm going to see if anybody in the audience has questions. So audience, be thinking. Our next question, sorry. If elected, how do you plan to learn the ropes from me, Colt, current quad director, and how do you plan on getting to know incoming leaders and members of chapters? And we're going to start with you, Shilpa.
So I really do believe that I've learned a lot just in a short time of just getting to know you, Cole, and seeing the type of efforts that you take on knowing people individually. And rather than just being a position as a leader, being like a friend and a place of support for many of these presidents and many of these chapters, I do think I have a lot to learn from you, and being able to learn how exclusive you are in terms of how you contact people and how you're able to build those relationships.
Thank you. And then Valerie.
Yes, so in order to learn more about the South Quad director position, one, I would make Colt talk even more than he already has. And then I'll reach out to past South Quad directors too, who I've reached out just to help out and progress all this, just because there's different ways, different approaches to all of it. So there's not one right answer. And so I want to make sure that I get as many voices and then start reaching out to chapters as well. I love traveling, so I want to go attend general body meetings, seeing what the members want as well. That way I'm hitting what needs to be hit.
Thank you. And then Bungi.
I'll take a more surgical approach in that I'll definitely sign up for one of your Calendlies and then have a meeting with you first. And then I'll go through every single one of the squad pod meeting Google Docs and then sort of comprise a list of the people that I would want, or the leaders that I would hope to at least reach out to. And so I would either contact them through there and then hope to at least make it a more seamless conversation through a more casual environment rather than something a little more daunting. So
Awesome. These have been great. So I thankfully am hopefully going to stop talking for a minute. Do any of our delegates or just members of the chat have questions or just any questions for our candidates? If so, you can raise your hand or just drop it in the chat, unmute, whatever is easiest for you.
Hey y'all, can you hear me okay? Cool. Well, hello. Nice to meet all of you / see some of you that I already know. But I have kind of a silly question, and this came up in one of the meetings yesterday, and I thought it was a really great way to get to know some of the candidates. So my question is, if you were a vegetable, which one would you be and why?
So we'll do 30 seconds and we'll start with Valerie.
This is a hard one, but I think I'm going to go with a tomato just because my culture uses tomatoes so much in the food and it always gives it like a good tangy taste. And there's ketchup too. So there's different ways you can saute it. You can eat it raw. Oh, fantastic. I'm going to be a tomato.
I had a conversation about how eggs and potatoes are like, you can cook them in a bajillion different ways. So I would really love to be a potato because of fries, spuds, everything and everything. Potatoes.
That's a good South answer. Go ahead, Shilpa.
This is this is the first thing that I thought. I would always want to be an eggplant because I have such a love for eggplants, like grilled eggplants, the way it's like seasoned and the way it's just done. I love it. And I think it is a part of Indian food, but just like in general, like I love eggplants.
Thank you so much.
That was a great question. I got asked that yesterday, and I'm not going to share my answer because this is not my Q&A. I'll have one right after this, but so that was a great question, Lauren. Thank you. Yeah, y'all can also feel free to ask more casual questions. You can ask like goofy, funny questions. You can also ask serious questions. Get to know these people however you want to. So we do have a question from Dalton in the chat. Thank you for your question, Dalton. And they asked, what would be a way to share between South Quad chapters tips for increasing members? What have you done at your chapter to increase members? So we'll do a 30 seconds on this one each. So we will start with Bungi, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about how you're cycling it. Yeah, I think that the way that I would share tips between South Quad members is just by going out of my way to at least be able to talk to each of the different members within each of the quads or each of the chapters. So for example, I was able to host an event with like Valerie and a bunch of the chapter leaders throughout this South Quad, but also I was able to meet Shilpa through like the ethics committee, and we were able to grow like a friendship beyond that. And so I would do that.
Thank you. And then Shilpa, do you want to go ahead?
I've learned a lot from my local chapter in terms of everything we've done to be able to support our students. And that's partially the reason why AIS is so well known at my school. It's just because of the amount of resources that we have, from portfolio reviews to career fairs to mentorship programs. Even if students are not actively a member of AIS, they are well aware of it and benefiting from it. So I think eventually, because of this, they see the worth in joining AIS and coming to these conferences.
Thank you. And then Valerie, do you want to close us out on that one?
Yes, so definitely food helps a lot. I know we did a Thanksgiving potluck and I went around to every single studio section and I was like, we have free food. I know you're hungry. Go grab some food. So just going out, reaching out to them individually, be like, hey, what is it that you want? We've created Freedom by Designs, Beaux-Arts balls, and we've also partnered with a lot of allied disciplines. So civil engineers, construction science majors, landscape architecture students, and all that, got them in one room together and be like, hey, there's something for everybody here. I just want to make sure that you have what you need to do to grow. And so by doing that, I've had a lot of members starting to come and be like, that's what I want. I need this. Do you have more of it? And yeah, that's worked for us.
Thank you all. Dalton, thank you for that great question. Do any of the other members of the chat have questions for our candidates? If not, I've got plenty, but I want to hear what y'all want to ask them. So let's see. I'll go ahead and ask another one. Y'all can feel free to keep thinking. So this is going to be a fun one, and I'm going to give you each 30 seconds. This is your elevator pitch. If you were asked by a fellow student why you should join the AIS, how would you respond? And Shilpa, you're going to start on this one.
I would really begin by asking them, like, what do they want out of their education? What do you want out of your architectural experience? Are you someone that's like more invested in design, or do you want to foster a community and be able to like build off of other architecture students? I think that has a lot to do with studio culture and how we view ourselves individually in a professional life. But honestly, I would be like, if you want to make friends, if you want to be a part of a bigger world, like join AIS.
Thank you. And then Valerie, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, so I would first ask them what brings them joy, because I know for me, what brings me joy is being able to reach out to students, and when they have such a need and they're so desperate, I'm able to sit down with them and be like, okay, let's calm down, let's breathe. Okay, what is it that you want? And then they're going at it, they're giving ideas and everything. They're so stressed, and I'm just like, here are the resources I have. And that brings me joy when I see someone flourish and you see the light come back into their eyes. And that's what I would try and get out of them. What's their joy?
And then last but not least, Bungi, will you take us home on this one?
So I'd approach them by asking them how they're doing, and more often than not, it ends with, or it results in stress. And so I hope to at least want to vocalize that there's this studio beyond studio, sort of like a community outside of just like working in studio from 9 to 5. Just knowing that there is a community that like is there to be a resource to support you. And I mean, that's how we've operated, and that's how the national community has shown to be to me. And so I'd hope to relay that over as well.
Thank you. Does anybody else from the audience have a question for our candidates?
I actually have one more question. It's not as silly, so apologies for that. But I think like a word that gets brought up a lot within AIS and in student organizations like it is advocacy. And I think especially with our organization, like advocacy for students within their schools, but also within the larger architecture profession. And so I just kind of wanted to know what that means to you and how advocacy would be incorporated into y'all's priorities as South Quad director.
And Valerie, I believe you're starting this one. Yes. Okay, perfect. And we'll do 30 seconds on this one because I saw Christina, you also had a question. So I want to make sure we get to both of those.
I guess for advocacy, for me, definitely is getting into like the belly of everything. And so meeting with all the directors of your schools, all the people ahead, and giving them like all the problems, issues that the students have, because sometimes they themselves think they kind of know what's going on, but in reality, it's something so different. So encouraging student leaders to, hey, go talk to these people and make sure that their voices are being heard. And if they're not being heard, start going to the people above. And that was something in South Quad conference that I remember hearing, is that they don't do it, then you got to go above them and start making sure something happens there.
Thank you. And then Bungi.
Yeah, so this actually hits a bit close to home, knowing that like we've had our own problems that are in our chapter and in our university on how professors have been treating students per se. And so I really am about wanting to take all of the students' like voices together into like one comprehensive, like, hey, this is a problem and hey, we need to fix it now. And this isn't something that we'll wait up for. And so I guess that's how I'd answer that.
And then Shilpa, do you want to close us out on that one?
You know, I actually had a really interesting conversation with Jesse about how difficult self-advocacy can be sometimes and how important advocacy as a community is very important. And just like Boogie said, most universities do have issues regarding professors, especially a newer generation of architecture students that want to deserve respect within their education, also within their firms, and being able to stand up against systems of power and advocate for not only ourselves, but each other is very important.
Those were all great answers. Thank you all. And thank you, Lauren, for the question. Christina, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? This will probably be our last question, and then Scott will probably kick us out. So,
Okay. Yeah, hey everybody. So I've been hearing a lot about community, and I've been wondering, so my chapter, as most of you already know, is relatively new. So one thing we have to face a lot is apathy, and like people just like want to go to class, go home, go to work, right? No one really wants to say what are some ways we can foster the community that like they, you know, want to continue coming to our events.
that's a great question. 30 seconds, so we all have time to answer. And Boogie, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so I'm a person that loves to like fight fire with more fire. And so like in the event that like numbers are running lower, I'm always the person that like tries to keep up the energy, tries to put more into it. And so hopefully that's something that adds more fuel to the fire. But I think adding more to what currently exists always helps out.
And then Shilpa.
Yeah, Christina, that was such a great question because most chapters do have issues with trying to get people more involved other than just doing class. Because at the end of the day, there's got to be more than just doing your basic design work. There's got to be more that people want than just getting a degree. I think that being like going individually and showing enthusiastic like ideas to our students and showing them that we are interested in their lives, we are interested in their problems and what they're passionate about, and just going out of the way to show that we do want to talk to them.
And then Valerie, if you'll close us out on this one.
Yes, so we have definitely at Clemson, we've created a lot of consistent events. That way everyone knows what time everything is happening, when it is, and also going to students themselves. So I know when I wanted to increase members, I would sit in first year studios, second year studios, and I would just talk to random students and just see what they wanted to do and everything. And I was like, oh, we're actually doing that tomorrow. You might as well stop. Or we're going to have pizza. Or we're doing a pasta competition, mac and cheese one. And they're like, ooh, that sounds so good. So then just enticing them little by little. And as they start coming more, approaching them in meetings and saying, oh, thank you for coming and all that. So that's really helped us a lot.
I am muted. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording real quick.